Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snug Wrestling. Today is NXT Day. We're going to be going over NXT's Great American Bash from over the weekend, as well as a fallout for NXT. And we got to have our NXT expert here with us. Mr. Tommy is in the building. What's up, Tommy? You ready for this all NXT episode we got planned for everyone today?
Yeah, NXT in total was complete chaos for both things, which is not surprising at all. I would really like somebody to steal this 103-degree heat wave from me because that's what Illinois is dealing with right now. But the last couple of days for me has been a little bit rough. Thank God we weren't doing this yesterday like we originally planned, because there is going to be a dedication for this episode. Somebody who has not only supported me through this without even knowing what the hell it is, but somebody who I've really only known since November. My girlfriend's grandpa, unfortunately, finally passed as of last night. So I'm absolutely dedicating this to him as a thank you for supporting me and supporting not only me, but her as well through everything her and I have both been through.
Well, damn, bro. Sorry to hear about that. Yeah. Well, hope wishing the best for you and your family and your girl and your girl's family and all that good stuff. And hopefully, hopefully everything goes well when it comes to all that, right? Um, well, yeah, we originally were gonna do NXT American Bash yesterday, but we had another interview with Mr. Blood. Did an interview with Dwayne Cashman. That's out on YouTube as of right now. Um, the PLE. This is the first PLE that NXT did on the CW, and it was a pretty big deal. So they really packed up the card, and it was a really long show. It was what, 7 matches plus backstage segments. I mean, the PLE was in the Performance Center, so it just honestly, I mean, it's also because of some of the matches we had on the card. It kind of just felt like a very, very long episode of NXT. Um, I don't know about you, Tommy, but it didn't really feel like a big PLE to me, at least. I mean, besides some of the bigger matches that we had on here, we had the NXT Championship match, North American title match. There were some matches on there that I felt like, I don't know if they were, I guess, PLE worthy, right? But overall, Tommy, how did you feel about the how the Great American Bash went this year for NXT?
I actually like the way it ended up, especially with all of the matches involved. The majority of them were title matches. I believe they said like 5 of them were title matches. So just to have that amount there compared to Night of Champions, which was the night before, which only half of the card for that, like 3 matches, were title matches compared to like 80% of the card here on NXT. So to see that go down as well is massive, especially for a developmental show.
Yeah, so let's get into the card for the for American Bash, and then this is going to be a brief review of the American Bash because we also want to go over the episode from NXT from last night. So it was the fallout of the American Bash, which usually the fallout episodes, the weekly episodes after the PLEs, they're a pretty big deal. And this episode of NXT was. There was a lot of things that changed on this, American Bash leading up to the Fallout episode. But they decided to go with the big title match that for the NXT Championship. Tony D'Angelo versus Naraku was an opening match, which I thought for sure this was going to be the main event because it's the men title for the guys. But they started off the show and they started off hot. You know, the week before the American Bash, they did the angle where Tony D'Angelo got burned his half of his face off by the fireball that was created by Naraku. So Tony D'Angelo was going into this match damaged with a damaged face. He was injured. Um, so yeah, Tony D'Angelo was in trouble, right? But Tony D'Angelo still managed to get the win. This feud, this match kind of went from 0 to 100 real quick, meaning like first Naraku was like, "Hey, I'm not here to, to attack you or anything like that. I'm actually here to protect you. I'm here to help you keep the title because me and you are going to go to war eventually at some point." And then at Naraku burns off Tony D'Angelo's face, so Tony D'Angelo's pissed off. And when he goes into this match, it turns into a fucking brutal fight. They go through the I guess it's like some wooden panel over there on ringside, like right off the bat. So it starts off hot, this opening match at the Great American Bash.
And that's not surprising, especially with the fact that Naraku did say that this was going to be war between the two of them, and it 100% was, simply because of the fact that this man, it took a lot just to even get close to taking out Tony D'Angelo. And he did, in fact, give Tony D'Angelo a run for his money for a bit. He almost had him, but Tony D'Angelo was still able to fight through. And I do love the fact that NXT decided to start the show off with this massive banger and then end the show with the women's NXT title. So the women absolutely had their time to put their star out there as well.
Yeah. And then the second match of the Great American Bash was for the Women's NXT North American Championship, Zaria versus Tatum Paxley. And this was a few days ago. So did anything crazy happen in this match? I mean, for the most part, it was a pretty good match. There was no interferences, nothing. It was just a straight up one-on-one match. Zaria retained, but I remember Zaria just looking really impressive in this match. Obviously, she's a lot bigger, she's a lot stronger than Tatum Paxley, so they really highlighted Zaria in that way. And Zaria went over. She got a big win in this freshly new North American Championship title reign that Zaria is on right now. So I thought this was a great win for Zaria. Both of these women looked really good, and overall, it was a pretty good match.
What I also like is the fact that I cannot remember for the life of me what number it was that they said, but they did bring up that there is a very small amount of people who have lost their title on their first defense in NXT, and that Tatum was trying to put Zaria on that list of people who have not been able to fully defend it after only one defense. So that being brought up, I found very interesting simply because of the fact that Tatum was really, really trying to. Like, she put Zaria to her limits, and I'm very interested to see who is next for Zaria, in which next week we will find that out, as there will be a fatal four-way for a number one contendership for that North American title.
Do you remember who we're gonna see in that fatal four way? Because I don't.
Layla, God, I cannot remember for the life of me who the hell her last name is.
I think it's Layla Diggs.
Yeah, Layla Diggs, Thea Hill, that one rocker chick that I'm already forgetting the name of.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck, I forgot her name too. Damn it. Lizzie Rain.
Yeah, Lizzie, and then there's one other that I can't remember who's in that
Okay,
spot.
okay. Fair enough. Yeah, that should be interesting then. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be Layla Diggs because I think Layla Diggs is in that same little faction with like Natty and Nikita and that group of lovely
No,
ladies.
that's Carmen Petrovic.
Oh, she's in there too.
Is she? I haven't been seeing her with him.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Layla Diggs is part of that group too. Because Layla Diggs wrestled Jada Parker a few weeks ago. I believe
Oh,
that's the
that's
same
right.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so far so good when it comes to the Great American Bash. Two good matches back to back, and then we go into the third match. It was Shiloh Hill versus Tristan Angels. Right, the match itself wasn't bad. These two guys are really good athletes. It's just the situation here, the circumstances of this match is what did it for me. Where I was like, it's hard for me to get into this because these two have been feuding over a stash. It seems like, right? They had a pageant competition a couple weeks ago where the judges, scored them and then the fans scored them. Shiloh Hill won. Tristan Angels got jealous. And Tristan Angels is walking around calling himself Mr. NXT because he stole the stash. And Shiloh Hill is mad. And it's just not for me. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's just not for me. I thought this feud is a little goofy, especially for a big, like massive guy like Shiloh Hill. I understand that they're trying to give him character and make him like relatable and kind of like like silly and goofy, right? But no, it's not working for me. And then they did this spot where they both go under the ring and there's a camera down there and Shiloh Hill attacks Tristan Angels under the ring and then somehow he appears Shiloh Hill reappears in a completely different area in the outside of the ring, ringside, like within seconds. So it's like, it's just, this match was just silly to me. Shiloh Hill won. And the post match, he did a post interview where basically Shiloh Hill said, "Don't sleep on me." So this was the first PLE for both of these guys, and the match was good. Again, athletic, hard hitting. But I mean, whoever won here, I don't think it really made a difference. But what did you think?
I thought the match was pretty good, but the biggest thing that's popping into my head is I feel like this is a waste of time for Shiloh Hill because this is just screaming the same thing that Solo Sokoa did with the Lantern back when the Wyatt Six were still in the company. That's the biggest problem is he's over here carrying that around saying that he's like the head of the Fireflies, just like with what Solo did. And now you've got Tristan Angels basically doing the exact same thing with that stupid stash. I am getting sick and tired of WWE having entire feuds over objects. If it was something as prestigious as a title, yeah, sure, go ahead. But so far, we have had the New Day's stupid 6-foot hat that Xavier Woods had. We had the Lantern with the Wyatt Six and the Bloodline. And now we've got this stupid stash with Tristan Angels. I hate the fact that WWE continues to do this.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always kind of been done before, right? But before when it was done, I felt like it made more sense. Like who cares, bro? If you want to walk around with a stash over a fucking stupid pageant competition and call yourself Mr. NXT, then good for you, bro. Go for it. I don't care. Like before, it was like Macho Man's Randy Savage favorite cowboy hat that he spent a lot of money on that he really cared for. And, it was stolen from him and he wanted it back because it had sentimental value to him, right? Or the Undertaker's urn, right? Stuff like that. Okay, I get that. Fighting over that, that's understandable. Hell, even the lantern thing, but a stash over a fucking pageant competition, it's like, come on, bro. What are we doing here? And that was one of the matches where I felt like, did this really need to be on this card of a PLE for NXT? I don't think so. I think it was just like, hey, this is the first PLE on the CW, so we gotta stack it. And we're gonna give both of these guys their first PLE match, which is good. I mean, especially good for Tristan Angels, him just coming in to the roster not that long ago. He's already on, feuding with somebody on a PLE match. It's a good look for him, but it just wasn't it wasn't the greatest thing on planet Earth.
And it was obvious from where Shiloh Hill jumped out at that Under the Ring was 100% pre-recorded, especially the fact that he answered the phone. It was just like, the fog is coming, the fog is coming, the fog is coming. And then you've got Shiloh Hill showing up, and then the fog is here. It's like, it is screaming stuff that it feels like they used to do with The Undertaker during like the last little bit of his career. But other than that, it was slightly rough to watch.
But I feel like when they did stuff with The Undertaker, they would follow up with it. Like, what is the fog? Who is the fog? Is it coming, or is it just like, oh, this just it's going to be a cool visual and it sounds cool in the moment, and then we're never going to see it again? Like, Shiloh Hill wearing that mask looked cool. It looked scary. Like, I can believe Shiloh Hill being a fucking maniac, right? If you put him under that mask, kind of like the thing that they're doing with the tooth. Oh, when he takes the tooth out, oh, you better watch out. But if you put him on that mask, and say, hey, this guy, when he puts that thing on, you better watch out, maybe, okay, that's something. But, I mean, we'll see. Maybe they will follow up on that, because that would be interesting. I would like to see more of that, but I don't think they will, unfortunately. All right, Tommy, let's go on to the next match. Another match again, the Speed title. The Speed title is being defended on PLEs now. And it was Ariana Grace versus Ren Sinclair, the current women's Speed champion. This is a 5-minute match because it is for the title. And in 14 seconds left, Ren Sinclair won by submission, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, in fact, by submission. And this is where I am slightly impressed by Ren Sinclair, simply because of how she is, how fast she can end things. And she legitimately is a threat. And people think, because of the fact that she's so small and has a very insignificant title, such as the Speed title, that, oh, she's not a threat, when in reality, Ren Sinclair is 100% a threat. But people just don't think about it that way.
Yeah, and Ariana Grace isn't half bad either herself. I've seen her last couple matches, and actually I was like, oh man, there's some good stuff that she does on there. She's not horrible. So that was cool to see. And it was only 5 minutes compared to the match previous with Shiloh and Tristan Angels, which felt like forever. It was nice to have like a quick little match, little 5-minute match between these two women. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, this show ended at 2 hours and 7.
But you watched it without commercials.
Unfortunately, I did still have to deal with commercials here and there.
Okay, because it felt like way longer than 2 hours for me. But yeah, that could just be me. All right, Saquon Sugars versus Dion Lennox. What a freaking fight this was. This was a fight. It was an intense battle. These two went to war. I mean, they were not holding back. They were giving it all. And it was fun to watch. It was violent. Very, very good feud building up, And they have good chemistry. They know each other very well. So Um, it was a treat watching Saquon versus Dion Lennox. And the right guy won. Saquon Sugars got the win, but it wasn't without, the aftermath where the Dark State attacked Saquon Sugars again. So Saquon got the win. He proved to everyone that he really is that guy. He was the top guy in the Dark State. It wasn't Dion, it was Saquon. But Dark State got more heat on Saquon after the match, proving that they are ruthless, they are bad, they are evil. So I thought this was a win-win, I should say. Us, the fans, for the great match that they gave us. Saquon got the win, and Dion Lennox also looked really threatening afterwards. So this was probably my favorite part of the entire show of American Bash.
I think that this is the storyline in NXT that I am most invested in, simply because of how it's going down. They kicked out Saquon Sugars because of the fact that they lost the tag match. He then decided to take out every single one of the Dark State members except Dion Lennox. That way he could finally take off the head of the snake that is Dark State. And then this match happened, which was a fantastic match in itself, where he did, in fact, beat Dion Lennox. But there was that bat that he brought in right during his entrance with Saquon Sugars. And that bat, unfortunately, was used against Saquon Sugars. So I'm very interested to see where in the world this fully goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens there. We didn't see the Dark State, did we, last night on NXT? So they did attack Saquon, which tells me that story's gonna continue. But I don't know how I feel about that.
We did see Dark State last night because they are in the Fatal 4-Way for the tag team division.
Oh, that's right. Next week. Yeah, they were in that backstage segment or whatever, right?
Yeah, with Stone.
All right. The North American champion Myles Borne went up against an old buddy of his, Tavion Heights. And usually when we get like a match with two guys that it's publicly known that they've been friends for a long time, they've trained together, they've traveled together, they've been in tag teams together, it's usually like, okay, they're going to have a pretty good match because there's chemistry here, right? Kind of like what we expected when the Usos went one-on-one. They're literally twins. And then they have a match one-on-one, and it's not that at all. It was like just horrible. This match, it started off rough, man. It started out like it wasn't anything flashy, wasn't anything pretty. It was pretty awkward at first. And then during the second half of the match, it started picking up. And it got better, but this was an awkward match, wasn't it?
I actually disagree with you on that one. I feel like this match, because of who was in it, was pretty decent for me. Because of the fact that these two do know each other so well. They have traveled together. They've trained together. They've done everything together. So they were trying to figure out how they could do this match without ruining everything that came before it. So that was the only problem that they had there. But I actually had a lot of fun with this match. I do feel like the right man won with Myles Borne. And Heights took Myles to his limits. He really did, and I cannot wait to see what else happens between these two.
Don't get me wrong. I like the match too. Like, I like when a match doesn't feel like a spot fest, when it doesn't feel like overly choreographed. Like, this match felt like a competition. It felt like each one of these guys is trying to one up each other, and they're trying to win. But also at one point, they both went for like I think they both went for like a tackle, kind of like a spear at the same time, and they like bumped heads and they kind of rocked each other. It was like, oh, I don't think that was supposed to happen. Just little things like that that made you think maybe there's some miscommunication, but that's not always bad. I Sometimes it's good. It's nice to see something different other than the perfectly planned match. Like I like it when it feels like these guys are going out there and just calling shit on the fly. But there were some times where it felt like they weren't calling anything. They were just doing shit. So it was interesting. I definitely it's one of those matches like you have to go back and watch to kind of understand like what the hell is going on here. All right. So we had that. Okay, now we go to the main event. The main event was the Women's NXT Championship, Kendal Grey and Lola Vice. And this is where they got me, man. Cause I mean Lola Vice was just NXT champion. She just got crowned, I felt like, what, a month ago? And it's Lola Vice, right? I'm like, there's no way Lola's losing here. But nope, she lost. Kendal Grey won. She's a new women's NXT champion. I did not expect this, but it's Kendal Grey. It's her time. NXT said it's your time. It's time for a new champion. And they're running with good old Kendal Grey, Tommy.
I'm actually very interested in it because we both thought that it was slightly too early for Kendal Grey. And the fact that they are pulling the trigger on her now, it shows that they truly do have confidence in her. But the moment I found out, because the ending of this match was unfortunately spoiled for me, the moment I found out that Lola Vice lost the NXT title, the first thing that popped into my head is, well, time to call her up with her boyfriend. Put her on main roster, because I could absolutely see that happening here soon as well, especially with Tatum, in which we'll get to her later because she showed up quite a bit on last night's NXT. But I really, really want to see Lola Vice up on the main roster, probably going up against Fatal Influence, maybe going off of that, doing some NXT runbacks, in which main roster loves doing those as of late. But that's a big thing that I would love to see, which is Lola Vice back like on top, but up on the main roster.
Yeah, that's you know what? We did kind of thought that about Tatum Paxley when she lost the championship. People were saying that Tatum Paxley is saying goodbye. She's going to get called up. That wasn't really the case. At least it doesn't appear to be that way. But that could be the case for Lola Vice. Could be a reason why they took the championship off of her. Because it just seemed like unexpected out of nowhere. Like she just got the title after I don't know how long she's been trying to get that thing, Lola Vice. She finally gets it, and then she loses it in like, what, a month? So
Yeah,
I wonder, yeah.
we didn't see her last night at all either. Like Lola
Yeah.
Vice was nowhere to be seen on last night's episode of NXT. So I'm starting
Yeah.
to find it very interesting on that.
For sure. Very interesting. Well, yeah, that was the Great American Bash. And we got a new women's NXT champion. We got some feuds that ended. Some are continuing. So now it's like, okay, what's next after this PLE of the Great American Bash? So they started off NXT last night with the new champion Kendal Grey. She comes out to do her celebration, and she cuts a promo where it's like, hey, I'm champion now. I don't look like a regular champion. I don't look like Lola Vice. I'm not all flashy. I'm not all caked up. I'm not wearing fancy clothes. But when that bell rings, I am a champion. I fight like one. And I'm going to prove to everyone that I am a champion. So whoever wants it, come get it, right? She then gets interrupted by Kaylani Jordan. And then this is when Tatum Paxley shows up and attacks Kaylani Jordan. Remind me again, why did she do this, Tatum Paxley? Because Kaylani Jordan is coming after Kendal Grey. She's been coming after the Women's NXT Championship. I get that. But what does Tatum Paxley have to do with any of this?
I thought that Kalani at least attempted to go after the North American title, which is kind of why she was tag teamed with Zaria at one point. I think that might be it, but I am just as confused as you are with Kalani.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to see Tatum Paxley. It looks like now they're mixing her up with the main title scene for the Women's NXT Championship scene, which is great, right? People love Tatum Paxley. If it leads to, I don't know, Tatum Paxley versus Kendal Grey, I think that NXT fans would really enjoy that. But it also means that our theory of Tatum Paxley being called up to the main roster is not going to happen yet.
Which seriously sucks because it kind of feels like she should be on the main roster. Because I would love to see something like Tatum Paxley versus Rhea Ripley, like going up against on that. So I kind of feel like she should be up on the main roster because she's already done everything she's needed to do on NXT. There's nothing really else for her to do. But this segment did in fact set up our main event, which was good old Kalani Jordan facing Tatum Paxley.
Yeah. This episode of NXT was also advertised as a AAA crossover. We were supposed to see a big title defense with Hijo del Vikingo versus EK Prosper. And the opening match of NXT was the second segment. It was a tag team match with the team from AAA, Galeano and Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. versus the NXT champions, the Vanity Project, and this was for a title match. Now, the team from AAA, the luchadors from AAA, look great in this match, but it is a Vanity Project. The Vanity Project is going to do what they do, which is play the numbers game, which is heel and which is cheat. And that's basically what got them the win over Galeano and Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., and they retain the NXT tag team titles.
This is going to be rare for me to say because I hate this faction. I actually think the right team won here because I don't really see if the AAA guys actually won the tag titles. I don't really see them coming back to NXT all that often right now. So that's the biggest thing where I feel like the Vanity Project was the right team to retain. But now, next week, we are going to find out who their next title defense will be against. We've got Dark State. We've got Out the Mud. We've got two random tag teams that were put together. But we will find out next week who their next tag team title defense will be. And if it's Dark State or Out the Mud, hell, I don't care who wins that Fatal 4-Way. I just want these tag titles off of the Vanity Project.
That's going to be hard to do, man. They keep on winning. They keep on finding ways of winning, the Vanity Project, just like they did on the second match of NXT. The Vanity Project stayed in the ring because the second match of the night was a singles match between Jackson Drake and Mason Rook. And again, the Vanity Project does what the Vanity Project does, which is cheat and which is heel. And Jackson Drake defeated Mason Rook, but I'm not going to take away anything from Jackson Drake because before the interferences, Jackson Drake was in there and he held his own. He fought a much bigger dude, Mason Brook. Mason Brook did all he can to put him down, but Jackson Drake kept fighting back. He kicked out of so many things. There's a couple false finishes in there where people are like, yep, Jackson Drake, he's done. He's over with. But no, he stayed in there. So despite the cheating, the numbers game, Jackson Drake still really looked really good, I thought.
Yeah, Jackson Drake, you and I have both said, is the star of Vanity Project. If he went off on his own, he'd easily be able to hold his own. But this also does keep safe Mason Rook because of the fact that it took all four of them just to keep him down. So that in itself truly does show that Mason Rook is a absolute beast who absolutely, just like his chant says, he's big, he's bad, and he'll absolutely body slam your dad, just like he did continuously with Jackson Drake last night. He definitely pulled off a couple of body slams on him, and it keeps him safe that all four of them is what it took to take him out.
What did you think about that little spot that they did with Booker T receiving a phone call from Cam Hendricks in the middle of the match while the match was still going on? You can hear a phone ringing in the entire performance center, and it's Booker T's phone that's somehow connected to the speakers in the entire PC center, and it's Cam Hendricks on FaceTime, and it's labeled the Cam with the K, C-A-M, Cam. And basically, Booker T is receiving phone calls in the middle of the match for the whole world to see. So Cam can be like, hey, I'm coming back soon.
Cam Hendricks, could you not have called after this damn match? Like, I would have been fine with this match finishing up. They both exit the ring, and then you call Booker T, because that would have made more sense instead of it being right in the middle of a big match with the two of them. So at this point, I got a little bit of annoyed by that, because I'm just like, you couldn't have waited like 2 goddamn minutes for this match to end before you decided to call?
Yeah, and even the other announcer, who I always forget his fucking name, but I should be better about that because he's on NXT every week. He was like, so now you got your phone connected to the screen in the arena, and Booker T just said, I got people. But it's like, it's so ridiculous, man. I'm
Yeah,
like, if
your
it's connect
people is goddamn Shawn Michaels, because you two are close. So of course your shit's gonna be connected to the screen.
Yeah, I mean, if it was connected to the screen, how come we didn't see or hear any of his other calls or messages? It was just that one, you know? It's just, it was a little distracting because the match was going really good. And they cut out to do this in the middle of that match. And I was like, I don't care I want to see the match. I don't want to see Cam or Booker T answering his phone. Like, come on, bro. What are we doing?
I feel like it kind of ruined the match a little bit, because it went from this massive thing between these two guys to, oh, Booker T has a call now. And then they had to build it right back up.
Yeah, that's what it felt like for sure. All right, then we got a rematch from last week. Keanu Carver versus EK Prosper. EK Prosper was scheduled to get a Latin American title match versus Hijo del Vikingo from AAA, but Keanu Carver attacked Hijo del Vikingo backstage, and instead of getting the big title match that we were expecting, we got Keanu Carver versus EK Prosper. But after how their match last week, after how that went, I was looking forward to it. I would like to see more of Keanu Carver and EK Prosper, if I'm being honest. This has turned into a feud that I never thought I would see, and let alone enjoy. because EK Prosper beat Keanu Carver again for the second time in a row. And I thought, wow, this was perfect. Keanu Carver is going to be pissed off. A pissed off Keanu Carver is very entertaining. And it puts more credibility on EK Prosper. So yeah, man, I was really pumped for this match and for the outcome. But what did you think about this?
What I think is I would not mind the same situation that Carmelo Hayes was with Ilya Dragunov last year, which is like a fucking best of 7. Wait, no, it wasn't Carmelo. It was Andrade. That best of 7 was. My brain does not like to brain half the time, but I seriously would not mind a best of 7 between Keanu Carver and EK Prosper because of how good those two are together. They are so damn good in the ring together that I want to see it more often. This was a damn good match in itself. Then again, their last one was phenomenal as well.
Yeah, this was my favorite match of NXT last night with EK and Keanu Carver. But I also really enjoyed the next match between Carmen Petrovich versus Jada Parker. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on here that they didn't really explain, that the announcers didn't really talk about. So, first of all, Jada Parker, she's been in kind of a losing streak. The last few of her matches, she's lost them all. She finally got a win last night on NXT over Carmen Petrovich. So that was good to see. That feud with Natty seems to be continuing. Maybe Jada Parker's going to wrestle either Layla Diggs or Nikita Lyons either next week or something like that. So there's that. There's that's going on right now. Also, Carmen Petrovich just made her debut on AAA a couple of weeks ago. She joined a faction, Perros del Mal, which also included Bronco Nima, who's Jada Parker's friend from Out the Mud. Don't Jada Parker and like Out the Mud, they have history on NXT, don't they? Like they've teamed up before, like they're friends in story, right?
Yeah, they even had like a little backstage segment a couple of weeks ago after that debut.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if that's ever going to be addressed, if that's ever going to come into play. Carmen Petrovich and Bronco Nima are part of the same faction in AAA, but Jada Parker is feuding with Natty on NXT, which includes Carmen Petrovich. So it's kind of a interesting situation that's happening here with the NXT and the AAA crossover. So that's another reason why I thought this match was great. But the match itself was also really good. Jada Parker is she's a badass. So anytime Jada Parker is in the ring, it's like you have to watch her matches. She's amazing.
Yeah, it's the entire reason why back when they were doing the quiet call ups earlier this year, I full on said I want Jada Parker on the damn main roster. We've seen her in the Rumbles and how she worked on in there. We've seen her here. I want to see her in main roster matches. But so far, we're not going to get that right now. But it's only a matter of time before she's called up because holy crap, when she is, it is going to be a massive thing when she is fully called up. But this match, I did have quite a bit of fun watching, especially with the fact that I'm a Jada Parker boy. I love Jada Parker, especially with everything she is. Like you said, she's an absolute badass. And then you've got her match with Carmen from last night, in which that was a badass match in itself. So I cannot wait to see what fully decides to unfold throughout this entire thing as Natalya continues to send her lackeys out instead of fully going up against Jada Parker. And when that match happens again of Natty versus Jada Parker, Jada's definitely going to give her a run for her money.
And after a successful title defense at the Great American Bash, Tony D'Angelo, the NXT champion, addresses the crowd and the locker room of NXT. Yes, I'm beat up. Tony D'Angelo's face is fucked up still. And he almost was not able to defend the NXT championship because of the damage that was done to his face, but he did. He did it successfully. If he's willing to risk his health to defend the NXT title, then everyone in that locker room, whoever's next, better watch out. It's a pretty clear statement from Tony D'Angelo. And he's starting to leave the ring. He cuts his promo. He's about to walk backstage. And then he gets attacked by Naraku. He gets misted in the face, and Naraku attacks Tony D'Angelo with the steel chair, and he leaves him laying in the middle of the ring. And Tony D'Angelo might be done with Naraku, but Naraku's not done with Tony D'Angelo.
I'm not surprised that this feud is continuing, simply because of how Naraku's debut was and leading up to it. The fact that Tony D'Angelo was given a box, and that box was the invitation for this. He was then given a shirt specifically from Naraku's hands straight to him with that same war symbol on it. And then you've got Sunday's match between all of this. So I'm not very surprised that this feud is continuing. And I don't want it to end anytime soon, simply because of how good these guys are together. They showed that at the Bash. These two are massive together, and they are damn good. I cannot wait to see how this decides to unfold, because it's very clear that this is not going to stop at one war. There's going to be multiple wars out of these two.
No, you're right, dude. Well said. Couldn't have said it better myself. Their first match at the Great American Bash was amazing. I thought it was really good. So, I mean, their second match, I'm hoping they can top it off, and it can be even better from there. So hopefully it's all uphill from here when it comes to Naraku and Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, I definitely want to see more of them for sure. And it looks like that's what we're getting, so that's exciting. All right, the main event, Kelani Jordan versus Tatum Paxley. A lot of stuff happened in this main event. Because we have a new champion, Kendal Grey, she was out there on commentary. And while Kelani Jordan and Tatum Paxley were doing their thing in the main event, Kendal Grey gets attacked by Callie Armstrong. So earlier in the show, Callie Armstrong went up to Stone, the general manager, and was like, hey, how can I get a title shot? Stone said the most obvious thing ever, basically giving Callie Armstrong the green light to attack somebody. Actions speak louder than words, if you get what I'm saying. So basically, Stones was like, hey, go fuck somebody up, and then I'll pay attention, all right? So Callie Armstrong did just that. She went after Kendal Grey, the new main NXT Women's Champion, and she made a statement. So now you got Kelani Jordan, Tatum Paxley, Callie Armstrong, all coming for Kendal Grey, right? But it doesn't end there. Kelani Jordan picks up the win over Tatum Paxley, a former champion. So finally, Kelani Jordan gets one step closer to the title shot that she's never gotten. But after the match, Tatum Paxley gets attacked by someone else. And it was the new NXT signee. In the Indies, she went as Nikki Blackheart. Now, they didn't mention her name on this episode of NXT, so that tells me they're going to give her a new name. But she has been doing like house shows for NXT. Nikki Blackheart has been signed to NXT for a couple months now. She finally made her debut on NXT TV, coming after Tatum Paxley, which tells me she's going to be part of that NXT main title scene as well, with Kendal with Callie Armstrong, with Tatum Paxley, and with Kaylani Jordan. But the women's division is really picking up on NXT. And I think this is a great start for Kendal Grey's new NXT title reign.
I've never heard of Blackheart, so I haven't seen anything that she's been doing. But I will have to look her up, especially after that attack with Tatum, because I want to see exactly what she's capable of as of late. But what I find interesting is what they were putting over on commentary for next week. It will be our NXT champion against Natalya. And during that backstage segment earlier on in the show, Natalya did, in fact, put out a lot of great points with it. Has she really been wrestling in NXT all that much? No. But at the same time, look at everything that Natalya has done for the business in general. So if anyone deserves a title shot, it is Natalya. And Stone said, you know what? You're right. You put out some great points with it. So next week, that's the NXT title opportunity that Natalya is getting. And I cannot wait to see how that match goes. But Callie Armstrong, she has been shown in front of main roster crowds, specifically on Main Event. She's been shown off there. So why is she asking for an NXT title shot when she hasn't even been showing up at all? Like, she's not Natalya, who's been putting in the work for years. So there is that. But Tatum Paxley, again, brought her to her limits. But unfortunately, Kalani Jordan is the one who won here. And I don't know when we're getting the NXT title shot with Kalani Jordan, but it is only a matter of time.
Yeah, and I think the last time we saw Callie Armstrong was versus Jada Parker, like, I think it was like a month ago, and Jada Parker won. So it's like, okay, Callie wants a title shot. I mean, Callie Armstrong is really good. Give her a title shot. I would love to see Kendal Grey versus Callie Armstrong. But it's like, yeah, girl, back of the line, you know? But yeah, dude, man, NXT was really good last night. The Great American Bash was full of entertaining moments. So yeah, NXT is looking pretty good right about now on this week. Hopefully next week they keep up that momentum. We got some more matches to look forward to next week. But yeah, stay tuned for more NXT stuff and also Snug Wrestling stuff. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Tommy, let's get up out of here, bruh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was this episode of the NXT review and the Great American Bash review. You can catch us every Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday for Monday Night Raw, same day right after the show. NXT next day on Wednesday, and then our Friday Night SmackDown review has been moved to Sunday. So that's when we will do that at that's 8 p.m. Eastern, right, Snug? I'm pretty sure. That's 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe 6 p.m. Pacific. So you can catch us there. Go get your merch at teepublic.com/snug_wrestling. I repeat, that is teepublic.com/snug_wrestling. Stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. That was one time, for the one time, 4 letters, 1 word. Yeet.